Welcome everyone to another night review. Today we have the 2022 Acura MDX Advance, and in this night review we're going to go through all these exterior lights, check out the interior ambient lighting, and get it out on the road so you can see just how well these headlights do. Hey, thank y'all so much for tuning in. My name is Nolan. I'd love to bring these night videos to you guys, something unique, something different on a regular basis, but I also have a full detailed review of this MDX coming out soon after this video, so be on the lookout. If you want to see more night videos like this, be sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and if you like the video after you've seen it, be sure to click that thumbs up button because it really helps me out. But let's go ahead and get into it. So let's start things off right up front. So this 2022 MDX is all new for this year, completely redesigned, and we've got some nice slick LED headlights. First of all, coming over on the side, LED jewel eye headlights, which is what you see right here. The separate headlights or the separate lights, those are standard on every trim with that daytime running light that swoops right up underneath of them. You're also gonna get LED fog lights on the A spec and the advanced trim. And then coming over to the side over here, you can see the blinker, the indicator is built in right underneath that daytime running light. So this looks really slick. There is a downside to these headlights, which I will talk about in a little bit and give you a good look at the beam pattern if I don't get struck by lightning here. But this is the Performance Red Pearl paint. I think it looks great. It looks good in the daytime. It looks good in the nighttime. This camera is making it look a little bit more fiery red. It's actually a really deep, pretty red. And on the side body, you can see the bright marker light up in the front, as well as the marker light in the back, and these 20-inch wheels. And this is the advanced model, so it's a more luxurious model, as you can see with all the chrome and these large wheels. The mirrors also have indicators. I have the other side turned on right now, but you get blinkers in the mirrors, and they're also automatic dimming, which is wonderful. And coming out to the back, of course, you've got LED taillights too, with that same signature design, and they're full LED, as you can see with this LED blinker, plus the license plate lights are also LED. So all LED everywhere, looks really nice. Hopefully they last forever too. There's a couple cool features about this cargo area. First of all, you do not have power folding seats, which is a little bit surprising. I talk more about this in my full review, but up overhead and for the third row, you've got that light. So that's nice. Plus on the actual lift back area, you've got two lights that shine down. So you've got quite a bit of light that comes down to light up this cargo area. And you can see that button right there. If you push that and walk away with the key fob, it will automatically close for you without you having to do anything. Now to give you a better look at this paint color, it's really nice. It's just a deep red, and I apologize for it being wet. A storm just came through, and this is my last chance with the vehicle. But if we look back here, check it out. You've already got ambient lighting in the back seat on the doors, which is nice. And that actually changes colors. I'll show you that a little bit later. But we have a big giant panoramic roof, so you've got split LED lights back here, and you even get your own climate control back here. So this is your own climate control, and you've got plugs, everything's illuminated there. One other nice feature, as you approach the vehicle, you can see the lighting in the door handles. So that door, and even in the back doors too. So that's just a nice little touch that you get with the approach lighting. And then coming back here, more ambient lighting on the door that I'll talk about later, ambient lighting on the other side, and you've got the LEDs up above. But these seats are really comfortable. This advanced model gives us 16-way adjustable seats. They're premium leather as well, heated and ventilated. I talked more about it in the full review. All right, now let's go ahead and start it up. Foot on the brake, push button start, and the push button start button is illuminated. Got a nice startup with this digital cluster here, and same with the large digital screen over here. So Acura gives you two large digital displays standard. Now let's start out over on the door. First of all, you see this ambient light strip that runs up there. There's also one down lower, and it kind of illuminates the buttons down here, even this little door handle. And all of these buttons and switches are illuminated, as well as all of the ones next to the steering wheel, like parking sensors, your interior brightness controls are actually this button on the right, and even your head-up display and your Acura watch system stuff here. The door pocket also has a little tiny bit of lighting It's not really picking it up right now, but it does have a tiny bit of glow in the bottle holder. There's also a little bit of glow down at the footwells, as you can see with my foot down there. And right in front of us, the steering wheel gives you a nice glow as well. You can adjust the brightness of these steering wheel buttons with the interior brightness control next to the steering wheel, but everything is illuminated with a nice soft white light. And then right in front of us, this large digital gauge cluster is standard on every single MDX, and the main piece of information is on the right. So you've got your trip computer stuff, A and B. It's really small. That's the only thing. It's just that chunk over there. There's a little bit of customization that you can do for this entire gauge setup. For example, gauge layout. Then let's go to this one, and it just changes it a little bit. But the coolest thing, I think, is when you change drive mode. So let's go to sport, check that out. It's kind of a unique thing there. And then we can go back to comfort, or you can have your own individual setting too. And then moving over to this big digital display, this is over a foot long. So this is controlled with Acura's touchpad. It's definitely not my favorite. It does work okay. It just takes some getting used to, and then it's almost a little bit of muscle memory. But let's go to settings, and you can go to display, and you can change the display brightness. And it's going to be its automatic, day and night mode, but you can also turn it completely off, or even just change how bright it is too. You go to vehicle settings, and then we can go up to lighting setup. So accent lighting, I'll talk about that in a second, but you can change how long the interior lights take to dim. Same with the headlight, how long it takes for them to shut off, how sensitive they are, etc. So some light settings right there. But the coolest thing with the ambient lighting is you've got 27 different themes on every model except the base. So you can control the brightness. You can have it linked to the illumination button. You can have it low. You can have it off too if you want. I've got it on high or max, so it's easiest to see, but every model gets the 27 different themes. Let me show you real quick before I show you the rest of the themes. Check out that lightning. Boom. But take a look at this. So every model but the base is going to give you multiple color. The base is going to give you just one color, and the advanced model that we have right here even gives you extended lighting location. So I'm not exactly sure which it is, if it's the lighting down here, or if it's the extra light bar on the door, or the dash, but there's just ambient lighting all over the place in here. And it's not obstructive. Like when you're looking straight ahead, it doesn't look super bright and annoying. And you can of course turn it off if you want, but let me show you the rest of the themes. So we go to the themes, and then you can have it change depending on what drive mode you're in, which is the way I have it right now. But then there's also different kind of random ones. So Autodromo, let's check it out. You've got like two-tone, you've got white, and then you've got red up above. So that's unique. And we've got another one with green and orange. So you can really kind of customize this however you want. And there's so many different ones. And you can change it up every other day if you wanted to. I mean, let me just kind of scroll through these real quick. Route 66, Bourbon Street, just different color themes depending on what you're in the mood for. I'm gonna put it in dynamic mode so that it changes when we change drive modes in our test drive. But just below that, you've got your dual zone climate control, all the buttons and settings and all the good stuff for that. Your dynamic mode, which is your drive mode button. And then you actually have a push button shifter here. Takes a little bit of getting used to if you're not used to it, but that's what comes on every MDX. And then right here is where the touchpad is for the information display. And then this has a gentle little glow over top of it. There's a little ambient light that shines down from up above. That little light in between the tilt buttons is what shines down. But just so you can see a little bit better, I turned on the big lights. You've got a wireless charging pad. And in fact, the wireless charging pad is nice. It's on every trim and you can use it. And then you even have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So I just unplugged my phone down there, and then there's wireless CarPlay, no cords. And then coming back a little further, there's just a soft, gentle glow right on the armrest. Open it up, and I've got so much stuff in here right now, but there is a light, and it's kind of a small cubby, but it's nice to see that there's actually a light down there, and a backlit USB port. Speaking of USB ports, next to the shifter and the drive modes, there's a pop-up button that's got 2 backlit USB ports as well. And then going over to the glove box has a little bit of light too, as you can see. Both driver and passenger get vanity lights with the mirror. Then up above, you've got individual LED lights just like that. All your illuminated buttons for your sunroof, panoramic roof overhead, or you can turn both lights on like that, or press the door button to determine whether or not the lights turn on when the door opens or not. And before we look at the headlights, we've got this 10-inch head-up display right in front of us. There's a good amount of information that you can see. You can see your lane keeping system, change through some of the apps on here as well. So that's pretty cool how you can do all of that, and you can even remove it if you want to. And then as we take a look at the actual headlights, look at this solid beam pattern running all the way across. It even looks like it fades out a little bit on the right and is higher on the left, but in the distance, it's actually not the case, which I'll show you in a little bit. There's a little tiny drop off right there, which is normal for oncoming traffic, and just a really impressive beam pattern. And then to the left, you can see the beam's not all that wide. We got some fog lights here, fog lights off, fog lights on, and then the high beams, really bright high beams and really bright right in front of us. The only downside is that there are no adaptive headlights, so this beam pattern stays the same, which is good, but there's also no cornering function at all, which would be nice to see. And the MDX scored the best possible rating for its headlights. It gets the top good rating for every single trim level of the MDX. Excellent distance, both high and low beams. And now to give you a look from a distance. So first of all, these are just the regular low beams right now. You can kind of see, this is the same hill I've been using. You can easily see the fire hydrant in those red lines or those red concrete posts, but as we go over to the left, that 4Runner's in the way a little bit, but you've got a nice beam pattern that does fall off just a little as it's supposed to, so good distance, and then excellent high beams. You've got good width on both sides and really bright high up. All right, y'all, let's get going on a test drive here. So in this night drive, I'll talk a little bit about what it's like to actually drive the MDX on a day-to-day basis and what it's just like to live with, but most of this is going to be how well these headlights do on semi-lit roads and on real dark roads. Pretty soon here we will flip over to another camera so you can get a good angle up close at the headlights. My only complaint with these headlights is that they are not adaptive, but I'm not sure if they need to be adaptive. They seem to do a pretty darn good job so far. We'll take a better look in a second. Now the beam pattern is kind of strange right off the bat because it almost looks like it goes up a little bit on the left side, but I'm going to turn the automatic high beams on. You have to toggle the high beam switch to turn them on or off, which is a little bit annoying, but let's go ahead and get on it. There's a little bit of a delay right away, but this transmission's been spot on with its shifts for the most part. 10-speed with this V6, definitely a nice powertrain setup. Now right off the bat, the rear view mirror is automatic dimming, so that's always nice, and both side mirrors are also automatic dimming, which is fantastic. Now the high beams are on. There's a car over to the left and it just now turned them off. Wow, did you see that lightning? But high beams are back on, so that was kind of odd. We weren't on very much of a curve, and I'm sure that those were still somewhat bright to that driver, but they left the high beams on even with the street lights overhead. A lot of times the street lights overhead prevent high beams from turning on this road. There's a cop sitting over there. Turn the high beams off, but we will get on a dark road in a second and see how well they do if I don't get pulled over. But the ambient lighting in here is good. I like the choice of ambient lighting, the different colors that you can get, and the overall ambiance is just really nice. It's a white color right now, which is for normal mode. If I turn it to comfort mode, it turns everything blue, and it looks nice. All right, now we're just about to get on the dark road. I'm gonna switch into sport mode for just a bit and get on it and see how well things look. But let's go ahead and switch camera angles for the close-up right now. Pedal down. All right, I'm gonna turn the high beams off, so just the low beams. And as we flatten out, Low beams look pretty good. They go pretty far into the distance too. I can see that corner quite well. See how we do going around the corner. Not adaptive, but that's still fairly well illuminated up on that corner. It's not as harsh or as close of a cutoff as a lot of vehicles. Low beams are still on. Good distance as it shines out. And as it comes back down, these have good distance. I would not be surprised if these get an excellent rating. Now the high beams, that looks good. So I'm gonna leave the automatic high beams on. They just turned on their own. And the high beams are also nice and wide going around the corner. No adaptive function. I could definitely see the high beams were not going exactly where I was going with the wheel. But I've got no complaints with these. These look great. And a lot of times this light to the left turns automatic high beams off, but not these. Now let's go just the low beams. Distance is good. I mean, I can see the reflectors quite a ways up the road, which is awesome. It's not a harsh cutoff. Now fog lights on. Peripherals, it's actually a little bit wider with and without the fog lights than I was thinking it was. I can see into the ditch pretty well. Not excellent. Fog lights off, fog lights on, and then high beams straight out ahead. These headlights just do a good job. Automatic high beams are on now, and they just turned back on. And I can see way down there. Stop sign, no problem. High beams off. Yeah, I'm really happy with these lights. I don't think any of you will have any trouble or any complaints with them. And I have not been flashed in the short time I've been driving at night with this MDX before this video either. They are bright and the beam pattern is pretty high, but nobody's flashed me. So Acura's done a good job with their beam pattern, and I would not be surprised if the IIHS gives them the best rating possible. If they don't, it's probably because the cornering light is not the best, but the distance sure to my eye looks really good with these headlights. All right, I just turned the automatic high beams on. Maybe we'll get some traffic, maybe we won't. The high beams are on now, and it just turned them off, probably because of the stoplight way up ahead. But that's always kind of nice to see and know as if they turn off because of stoplights or not, which generally means traffic and city. But overall, I really like these headlights. I think they look great. I like the interior lighting. The interior lighting is very nice. Overall, the new MDX has just done a really nice job. I'm happy with what they've done, but be sure to check out my full review if you want to see more, and let me know what you think of this night video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.